Hello and welcome to Long Island Legal. I am Patrick McCormick, a partner at Campolo, Middleton and McCormick, a full-service law firm located on Vets Highway in Ronkonkoma, and we are pleased to let everyone know that we are opening our new office on Main Street in Bridgehampton in September to better serve our East End clients. And we're very pleased about that. I'm happy, very happy this morning to have with me Alane Fagin, the Executive Director of Child Abuse Prevention Services, which is a little-known gem on Long Island. It's a not-for-profit organization dedicated to, as its tagline says, keeping every child safe from harm. Hello, Alane. How are you today?
Good. Thank you, Patrick.
So, since I'm sure most of our viewers are not familiar with CAPS and the very good work that it does, why don't you give us an introduction about what the organization does, who it helps, and how it helps?
We're a small nonprofit organization. We've been in existence for 33 years now, and we develop prevention programs on bullying, child abuse, sexual harassment, date rape, and internet safety, and we train volunteers to present these programs to school-aged children across Nassau and Suffolk counties.
Okay, and the programs, school-aged children, what schools does the organization service, and how do these programs work?
Okay, so we're in elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools. Each of our programs is created to be developmentally appropriate for the age group that we serve. These are in-classroom prevention programs. Some of them run about 3 days. And we train our volunteers to go into the classroom and do these programs on bullying, for example, or child abuse.
And yeah, you mentioned a lot of different things: sexual abuse, bullying. And it seems to me, based on what we see in the news media almost on a monthly basis, unfortunately, that the bullying, especially with the younger children, seems to be very prevalent. Is that what you found?
Yes, well, we here on Long Island, our numbers or the statistics are very much in line with the national statistics. And clearly, probably about 1 in 3 students has experienced some form of bullying at some point or other.
Okay, and this is going to be almost a silly question, but the term bullying, what does that mean? How does somebody even know if they're being bullied, or if my child is being bullied? How do I recognize bullying versus just everyday things that kids go through?
Yeah, I think that's a real good question, because I think the most important thing for everyone to know is that with bullying there is an imbalance of power and an intent to harm the other child, as opposed to those incidences of social cruelty, that social pain that all kids unfortunately experience at some point or other in their school careers.
And a lot of this, I believe, is almost silent. Kids, it happens, and children don't necessarily tell their parents or tell others because of either a social stigma or they're just embarrassed. Is that the type of thing that you find?
Well, it's silent in the sense that kids don't want to disclose that it's happening to them, but certainly what we've seen is that bullies get their strength by performing in front of others, so that typically there are others who know what's going on, but they typically do this not in the classroom, not under the eyes of their teacher, but in the hallways, in the playground, on the school bus, those areas that are less supervised by adults. And
talking about less supervised, what about social media? I see my kids constantly on the phones, the tablets, not even so much the laptops anymore, on all sorts of Twitter and Facebook and all of these things. Do we find a lot?
Well, obviously there's a greater opportunity to, quote, bully or cyberbully using social media and digital technologies because it's 24/7. Kids have tremendous access to do it. They can do it in the privacy of their own homes. But really, I think we all need to consider that cyberbullying is really just another form of bullying.
And you mentioned being in schools and developing these programs. Now, it's my understanding CAPS has a tremendous amount of volunteers who are highly trained who do these programs. Is that correct?
Right. So volunteers are really the lifeblood of this organization. We recruit volunteers from across Nassau and Suffolk County because we're doing programs in schools in Hewlett. We're doing programs in schools we've done programs out in Sag Harbor. We've done programs all the way on the North Shore. So we have such a broad reach, and we have so many different programs that we need to diversify our core of volunteers.
And if there's a school or even a parent who may want to have CAPS come into the school where their child is to either do one of these programs or to even just talk to someone, how does the school reach out to CAPS? How do we get into?
The best way for schools to reach out to us is either by email or on our website, www.capsli.org. That's CAPSLI.org. Or to call us in our office at 516-621-0552, extension 101.
And same website, same phone number. If just a parent thinks they might have one of their children may have a problem.
We have a bully prevention center, and with that is a bully helpline. And so parents, and we get calls from parents all the time on issues affecting their kids. So when kids are being seriously or egregiously bullied and a parent is really at wit's end in terms of what to do, they can call us on our helpline, and that's the same number, 516-621-0552, but that's extension 109, and that's our helpline number. And it's a helpline, so it's only open during office hours, but if anyone calls after hours, someone will call back the next day.
And typically on that helpline, what sorts of issues or questions get asked by parents?
Well, most of our questions are parents who now see that their child is experiencing terrible bullying in school, and they feel that they don't know how to handle it. They don't know what to do for their child. So what our bully prevention specialist offers the real strategies in terms of how parents can help their kids deal with the bullying, and also how parents can work with the school to keep their child safe in school.
And do you find that you get that on that helpline get calls or inquiries from students themselves, from kids?
Well, from time to time we also get calls from students because we have such a presence in the schools. We're doing bully prevention programs in elementary schools, we're doing them in middle schools, and we give out our helpline number so the kids know how to reach us, and so we do get calls from time to time.
And in terms of just sheer numbers, the number of students that CAPS reaches on a monthly or a yearly basis, how prevalent are these programs, and how many kids get reached?
I have to tell you, it's really phenomenal what our volunteers do, because we are a very, very small staff, but our volunteers are in more than 1,500 classrooms a year with our programs. We're reaching maybe 40,000 school-age kids, not in assemblies. We're reaching them in the classroom. And so it's a real testament to our volunteers. We have about 130, and we could use more.
I'm sure we could, yes.
Yes. But we managed to do all of that on a shoestring budget, I have to say.
So that's like any not-for-profit organization now, I'm sure. But let's talk about the volunteers a little bit. They're trained, correct?
Right. So our volunteers are former teachers, guidance counselors, social workers, police officers. We have volunteers from every walk of life but they are committed to helping kids. It is a very unique type of volunteering because our volunteers, they're interviewed, they're screened, and then, and then they need to understand exactly what they're going to be doing, and then they get the training that they need to go into the classroom and do these programs.
And you alluded to it, but if you could go into a little bit more about the different types of programs. I know there are programs for bullying and cyberbullying. recognizing certain types of abuse, in terms of just the grade levels of the kids
So
you're reaching?
we really have programs that span the elementary through high school years. On the elementary level, we're doing programs on child abuse in first, second, and third grades, and then again we do it again in high school, a program for high school students in health education classes. We've got bully prevention, third and fourth grades, steer clear of bullies, that's what we call it, and then we've got our Step Up and Speak Out in 6th and 7th grade. And then we also have our internet safety programs, Cyber Safe for 5th grade, and Surf Safe that runs grades 6 through 8.
Could you tell us, just generally, the types of things that these various programs are looking to impart on the kids, especially the younger kids?
So for the younger kids, for example, child abuse, and we all know that child abuse is a very, very serious problem, and our youngest kids are the most at risk. So our goal here is for kids to understand in a very warm, sensitive manner that they have certain rights, they have certain needs that need to be met, and when these needs are not met, then they should reach out to someone. So the goal here is really to give kids strategies so that they can identify the important adults who they can go to if there's a problem.
And typically, who are those important adults?
So if the abuse is occurring in the home, and they might not be able to go to the other parent, then they can talk to a teacher or a counselor in the school or a grandparent or even a neighbor. So that's the kind of thing. But the other thing in our child abuse is that the public needs to understand that most abuse is perpetrated by someone known to the child, a family member, or someone, another caregiver, or
that they trust.
Someone who they trust.
Right. Which makes it more difficult.
It makes it more difficult, but so we need to teach kids the language to reach out to another adult.
And in the older grades, the anti-bullying or the bully prevention, what types of things are you looking to impart on those kids?
Well, we're doing two things. One is we're trying to keep kids safe from bullying and give them some strategies in terms of how to handle bullying if they're being victimized or targeted. The other thing that we really want to work on is getting our bystanders or silent majority, those kids that observe the bullying that's going on, give them the tools so they can step in, reach out, help the targeted child.
So it's about helping.
It's about helping.
Empowering.
Right, exactly.
And we've mentioned the volunteers. We've also mentioned the shoestring budget. If anybody would like to help out, whether either as a volunteer or in any other way, does CAPS do any type of fundraising or things of that nature?
Fundraising, yes. So in fact, we have coming up our second annual 5K walk run, which is going to be on Sunday, October 5th at Sunken Meadow State Park.
Great venue.
Yes, it's going to be terrific. This will be our second year. And this year it's a 5K cross-country run, but we also have a 5K walk on the boardwalk. It should be a wonderful morning, entertainment, some refreshments, and just a lot of family fun. And for serious runners, it's a good course.
I'm familiar with that course.
Right.
Yes. And last year for the first annual one, how many participants did you have for that?
So we had about 150 runners, and we had about 250 walkers. So we're hoping that it was a great first year, and we're hoping to double or triple it this year.
And if anybody wants information on that, they can get it from the website?
They can get it from the website for sure. They can call the office. And we can give them all the information. They can register online.
Okay. And there's also an annual spring luncheon.
We have an annual spring luncheon in April, and we always have it's going to be on April 16th this year, next year, 2015, and it's at the Carlton on the Park in East Meadow. and we always have a wonderful speaker and a terrific crowd, and it's a great event, and we need to raise the money because all of our programs that we do for kids are free of charge to the schools. So we don't charge the schools because we want to make sure that every child gets this important safety information.
So this funding is necessary
Right,
to keep
right,
it free.
Right.
Okay.
But the other thing, if I can just add, we do a lot of professional development for educators across Long Island. We are very, very involved with the Dignity Act. We're doing certification, we're doing Dignity Act coordinator training, we're doing superintendent's day conferences on bullying, all of that, and we do parent education. So we're doing PTA programs, parent awareness programs on issues of bullying and cyberbullying and internet safety and child abuse.
So the fundraising is important for all of those things.
The fundraising is important for everything that we do.
Okay. And there's also usually an annual cigar night, scotch tasting that goes on.
Yes, so we're hoping to get that
Again this year?
Again, yes. We look at every opportunity to raise funds so that we can reach more than 40,000 kids a year with our programs.
And those information on those events is all on the
all
website?
on the website. All on the website.
Good. Well, I want to thank Alane Fagin for being with us on Long Island Legal today. Very informative, certainly very important function and service provided for the Long Island community. Thank you for that. And until next week, thank you.